All right, good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Hunter Williams here. Time is currently 9:05. We have a pretty busy forecast here over the next couple of days. So wanted to take some time, sit down here. We can go over some questions and just roll through the forecast. We essentially have 2 rounds of rain and storms that are expected over the next 2 or 3 days here. The first of those rounds is going to come through late this evening into tonight. So most of today is going to end up being dry, but it's this evening into tonight, widespread storms. I think we get a little bit of a lull during the day on Tuesday, and then Tuesday night into Wednesday, we have another round of storms that's going to move in. Both of these rounds will include the potential for maybe a couple of strong ones. We're looking at a gusty wind threat, a hail threat, kind of like what we saw over the weekend. Also can't completely rule out an isolated tornado or two with a couple of these storms. And then in addition to that, I know it's kind of odd given we've talked so much about drought and how much that we need the rain, but there's also going to be a localized flooding threat here over the next couple of days. For the most part, beneficial rain, but if we were to see, say, 4 to 5 inches or more in one spot in a short amount of time, that can give us some flooding problems. So with that all being said, if you have questions or comments as we go through this, drop them in the chat. If not, we'll just kind of roll through the forecast and make sure we go over everything for you. All right, so let's start here. Again, we have a couple of rounds of storms. Round 1 is going to be this evening into tonight. Round 2 is going to be Tuesday night into Wednesday. And I have 2 rounds. There may even be a 3rd round that develops through the day on Wednesday. Dry weather is going to return by Thursday. But for both of these rounds, severe weather potential is there, and there is a concern for some localized flooding with a pretty widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain. I think that there will be some areas within that range that are going to go above, say 3 to 4 inches or more of rainfall. Here's our hourly for today. Again, if you have plans today, on the 7-day I have as a 70% rain chance today. That is not so much for the day itself as it is for the evening. We'll go up to about 87 today. A good bit of cloud cover even this afternoon. I think we hang on to a mostly cloudy sky. And then notice this evening by 7, 8, 9, storm chances are starting to increase. I think these storms will develop first across the hill country, and then eventually we'll see these push into the I-35 corridor and areas east of I-35 during the overnight into early tomorrow morning. So this is our storm outlook for today. We got a fresh update on this about an hour and a half ago. It did not change. It is still along and west of I-35. The slight risk, that is the level 2 out of 5. And again, I think storms will weaken as they move eastward overnight, so you get into the 1 out of 5 for places like eastern Bastrop County, Lee County, Giddings, LaGrange, Cameron, areas like that. This is our storm outlook for tomorrow. Again, multiple rounds. So I know it says Tuesday. Think mainly Tuesday night into Wednesday morning on this one. Level 2 out of 5 essentially for the Austin Metro and points to the north, the 1 out of 5 south of that. Honestly, based on what I'm seeing, I could see the 2 out of 5 being upgrade, not necessarily upgraded, but spread out, being more widespread for that Tuesday storm outlook. So if we get changes to that, we will let you know. Okay, so that's kind of the overview. Let's hop into the models here and we'll just talk specifics on this thing. So we have Sally tuning in. Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it. Chris Nunley tuning in from the Pacific Northwest. Chris, we miss you, man. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us. All right, I'll take this full for everybody so you can just kind of see the details as we go into this. So most of today is dry. This is 3 p.m. Still hanging on to a lot of cloud cover. Maybe an isolated shower or storm developing across the hill country as early as 2 or 3. But the main storm threat's going to come this evening. So here's 4:30, mid-upper 80s for the Austin area. Now here we go. As we get into the later evening hours, this is 10 o'clock. We have a more organized complex of storms developing across our western hill country areas. So at that point, 10, Mason, Llano, Fredericksburg. This could be heavy storms underway. And that gradually pushes eastward through the overnight. So here's 1 a.m. We could have strong storms moving into parts of the I-35 corridor, especially the northern I-35 corridor from Austin up into Round Rock into Georgetown. And then more of this moves in as we go to the overnight. So here's 3 a.m. And again, the idea is that as we lose the daytime heating, as this moves farther east, the severe weather threat likely is lower, but there's still going to be the potential for heavy downpours of rain and maybe localized flooding. And then by Tuesday morning, we lose steam on that first round. That starts to fizzle out, so we get into a bit of a lull through the first half of the day tomorrow into the early, mid, even probably the late afternoon hours. So watch this. We start to warm things back up again. All of a sudden, it's 84. It's still humid as we go into Tuesday afternoon. That's going to help us recharge the atmosphere a little bit. So look what happens as we go into the evening and overnight again. We see additional showers and storms forming, and then this particular model has been pretty consistent in showing this, we call it a squall line, a big line of storms like this forming and rolling in from the north along this cold front for Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. Now, if we see a feature like this develop, that can highlight the straight line wind potential, and then embedded within the straight line winds, there can occasionally be a little spin up tornado or two. So here's 1 a.m. Then we go into Wednesday morning. We have more rain, perhaps even developing on the backside. So I've broken it down into kind of 2 rounds. I'm not entirely convinced that we don't get kind of a round 3 developing through the first part of the day on Wednesday. This is 9 a.m. and this is as far out as this high-res model will take us. So what kind of rainfall totals are we talking about here? Again, I think the potential is there for a widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain for just about the entire KVUE area. Embedded within that, I think there could be some areas that go 3 to 4 inches or more. And when you start talking 3 to 4 plus inches, especially if you get that in the time frame of just a few hours, that's when you get into that flooding concern. So this latest run of our model, I'll tell you what, that is printing out widespread 2 to 4 inches of rain for the hill country, which again, assuming that we can get that spread out a little bit, not all at once, and we avoid flooding, would be great news for these areas dealing with exceptional drought across the hill country. But we'll have to kind of fine tune these totals as we go. Let me show you the WPC breakdown. So that's our high-res model. This is going to look a little different. This is kind of a more broad brush idea here. Again, with a pretty widespread 1 to 2.5 inches of rain. Some are going to be up above that, closer to the numbers that the model I just showed you are printing out. Again, the concern that we have, we want rain, but it's May. Anytime that you start getting rain this time of the year, you got to look at flooding threat. You got to look at severe weather potential. This is our storm outlook for today. Along and west of I-35, we have the level 2 out of 5 threat. And then for tomorrow, oops, sorry, skipped past it. Then for tomorrow, this is Tuesday, so we're looking mainly Tuesday night into Wednesday. We have the 2 out of 5, essentially metro points north, 1 out of 5 south. Honestly, I could see the 2 out of 5 being kind of extended farther south. And then this is our storm outlook through the first part of the day on Wednesday. And then Thursday is finally when we have the drier weather that moves in. Okay, so let me show you the 7-day here, and then I'll make sure we don't have any outstanding questions here. Take this full. Again, I know I have a 70% rain chance today. Honestly, that's a little misleading. The day is going to be just about all dry. It's this evening into tonight when we have widespread storms that develop. We may get a little bit of a lull during the day on Tuesday, so I have a 60%, but we're mainly looking at early morning Tuesday and then again late at night Tuesday. So Tuesday night to Wednesday, we'll have more rain that develops. That sticks around through the first part of the day on Wednesday. And then by Thursday, now we go back to drier weather. Highs are going to be in the 80s. So Thursday and Friday will be pretty nice, but I think by the weekend we start to ramp the heat back up a little bit. So you get back into more of a not quite summer feel, not as hot as what we had over the weekend where we got our first 100-degree day, but, you know, feeling the heat a bit more. Got some folks tuning in from downtown Austin. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you're doing well. Any questions? I'll go through things one more time. We're live streaming right now on the app and on the web and all that, so we'll go through things one more time, and then I'll let you go. I'm in for your midday newscast. Here, I'm going to retweet they just tweeted out this stream. I'll get that posted. I'm in for the midday newscast today, so I will have you covered there. And then meteorologist Shane Hinton is in this evening, and if we need to do a little handoff tonight and keep y'all covered through the overnight, we'll certainly do that. Okay, looks like we're still good on questions. Let's rewind and we'll go through everything one more time. Look at that. So here's a live view this morning from our Oasis cam. Let's see if here, I'm going to go into our tower cam real quick, see if we can, it's probably still in the clouds. That is what it looks like if you go up 1,000 or 2,000 feet in the air, hanging out in the clouds. And again, we're going to kind of stick with a mostly cloudy look even into this afternoon. So let's break down our rounds of storms here. So here we go. Round 1 is going to be this evening into tonight. There's going to be severe weather potential. There could be a little bit of flooding out there as well in localized spots. Round 2 is going to be Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. If we were to see a squall line develop with round 2, like what our models have been showing, there's going to be a straight line wind threat. It could be an isolated tornado, and the flooding threat's going to continue, especially if those storms kind of stall out, slow down, and then train over the same spots. So severe storms, localized flooding are going to be possible with both of these rounds. If you have plans through the day today, most of the day itself is going to be completely dry. So on the 7-day, again, I know it's a little misleading. I have us a 70% today, but that's mainly for the evening and the overnight hours. So the day is going to be primarily dry. We'll go up to about 87, but you can see by 7 or 8, 9 o'clock, our rain and storm chances are starting to trend a bit higher. This is our storm outlook for today. Along and west of I-35, we have the 2 out of 5 risk. That's the slight risk. Storms likely weakening as they move eastward, so the 1 out of 5 for Fayette, eastern Bastrop, eastern Williamson, Lee, and Milam counties. And then this is tomorrow's storm outlook, which has the 2 out of 5 for the metro and points north and the 1 out of 5 south of that. Like I said, I think it is very much within the realm of possibility that we see that level 2 out of 5 risk expanded for Tuesday and Tuesday night. So you remember that cold front that moved through over the weekend, Saturday night? That gave us a round of rain and storms for many spots. That front is now stalled down to our south, and what happens is that's going to lift back north as a warm front through the day today. So that's going to give us access to the warmth and the humidity, the instability, all the fuel that we need for another round of storms, or in fact another couple rounds of storms. So let's hop into our model and we will time out multiple rounds of storms for you. Here is 3 p.m. this afternoon. We have some isolated activity possible across the hill country, but for the I-35 corridor, Austin points east, again, I think just about the entire day is going to be dry. Here's 4:30, and then really as we go into the evening, let me backtrack that a little bit. 6, 7, and especially as we go, here's 8, 9, and then especially into 10. So, 8, 9, 10, I think is when we start to see things becoming a bit more active here across the hill country. So heads up, Fredericksburg, Llano, Mason, Gillespie County, some stormy weather rolling in that time frame. And then that moves east through the overnight. So by 1 a.m. Tuesday, this model, which I think has a pretty good grasp on things, has some strong storms perhaps on the northern I-35 corridor. So for parts of the Austin Metro, up into Round Rock, into Georgetown, and then more rain's going to fill in behind that as we go into the overnight. Now, my thinking is that as we go further into the overnight, the more that we get removed from the daytime heating, the more that these storms move east, the more that we start to get some existing rain going on. I think the severe weather threat will lower through the overnight hours, but there could still be downpours. There could be some localized flooding ongoing overnight into Tuesday morning, but then that round pretty quickly fizzles. So by 7 a.m., we may be back to basically dry weather, which I'll be talking about during our daybreak show tomorrow. We get a lull through most of the day on Tuesday. Maybe some scattered stuff trying to pop up during the heat of the day, but I think it's mainly going to be evening into the overnight. So it's 84 by 5 o'clock Tuesday. We're building instability up again. Atmosphere is going to be unstable. 6, 7. Now this I'll need to watch carefully. This model, and this is brand new with the new run, is showing some scattered cells going up 7, 8, 9. And some of those are kind of out there by themselves. So if we were to see some supercells bubble up like that ahead of the main line during the late afternoon, early evening, we'd have to watch those for a tornado threat and a hail threat. So wait and see how that develops. But you get the idea as we go into the overnight, our storm chances increasing. Then here comes the squall line with the front itself. Here's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., mean storms moving through, and then rain back behind that. And then even into the first part of the day on Wednesday, I know I have this kind of broken up into 2 rounds. There may even be kind of a 3rd round that develops through the first part of the day on Wednesday. All of this with the potential for some embedded strong storms and some localized flooding. Okay, so this model takes us through 9 a.m. Wednesday. What I'm going to show you right now is the rainfall projection from this model. And notice it is still raining at 9 a.m. So this is not going to encompass all of the rain, especially for our southeasternmost areas where the rain is still going to be ongoing. But this model is printing out pretty widespread 2 to 4 inches of rain with isolated pockets that could be upwards of 4 inches, especially across the hill country, which is kind of in line with what we're thinking. Maybe some of the totals are not this widespread. We think a widespread 1 to 3 inches is pretty good to lock in. With some totals above that, this model is going a little bit more aggressive even than that range. So here's kind of the WPC's idea on this. This I would say is a little bit more of a conservative approach and has a decent idea. A 1.5 inch to 3.5 inch or so range with some isolated totals above that. Okay, I'll give you one last look at the 7-day, then I will let you go. I'm going to hop into our morning meeting here at 9:30, and then we will do another full update for you coming up at midday. Take this full for you. Eric joining us from Buda. Good morning, Eric. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Hopefully you're doing well. So a couple rounds of storms. We have this evening into tonight, widespread storms, a little bit of a lull during the day on Tuesday, but then Tuesday night into Wednesday, another round of storms. Into the first part of the day on Wednesday, rain and storms are likely pretty widespread. And then by late day Wednesday, I think we're starting to dry out. And then especially as we go Thursday, Friday into the weekend, that should be all dry weather, but we start to ramp the heat back up, and highs are going to be in the low 90s again as we get into Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so that is the very latest that I have for you right now. We will let you go. We'll stop the stream here. If we need to do more streams later on today, we will. Again, midday newscast coming up at 11 a.m. We'll get that knocked out for you. Shane will be in at 5, 6, and 10 for this evening. He'll have the latest updates. He'll track any of those late evening storms for you. Then I'll come in for the overnight. We'll hand things off, and I'll take you through the daybreak tomorrow. And then we'll probably do that all over again for Tuesday night. So kind of a busy week, but we'll keep you posted here at KVUE. Full update. In fact, just published a brand new timeline. It's on our app and on the website. So if you want to read through that, it is fully updated there. In the meantime, I will let you go. Y'all have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.